Singer Chris Brown has been arrested in Manchester in relation to an alleged attack that happened in London 2 years ago, according to the Sun newspaper. Brown was staying at a hotel when he was taken into custody early Thursday morning on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm. A music producer alleges Brown assaulted him at a nightclub, leaving him with serious injuries. He was due to begin a European tour in June, including dates in the UK.
He claims that Rihanna's ex smashed him over the head with a bottle and then punched him and kicked him as he lay on the floor.
Chris Brown's name is back in the headlines. And this time, it's not about a song, a tour, or a fashion moment. It's about flashing blue lights outside a luxury hotel in Manchester, a police van waiting quietly at 2 a.m., and an arrest that nobody saw coming this week. What's made this story explode across the internet isn't just the arrest itself, it's the celebrity reactions pouring in. But one in particular has turned heads. Jack Harlow. A private moment caught on camera, a conversation off the record, a message sent through an associate. All the speculation is circling around how Jack Harlow really feels about Chris Brown getting arrested.
Rihanna's ex-boyfriend was arrested earlier today in the UK, and he's currently being held on suspicion of being Chris Brown. Let me explain. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, Anglophile, and this is different. The singer and dancer was busted by police after being ratted out by a British tabloid. He was detained at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester at around 2 a.m. UK time. He flew in to the area yesterday on a private jet. The Sun became aware of his presence in the UK and they alerted authorities.
And the real reason fans are talking? Jack and Chris weren't just collaborators, they were cool, or at least they used to be. Let's rewind and walk through exactly what happened, what's being alleged, how Chris ended up in handcuffs over a year after the incident, and why Jack Harlow's reaction has everyone talking. At around 2 o'clock in the morning on May 15th, Chris Brown was arrested at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester by detectives from the UK's Metropolitan Police. He had just landed hours before on a private jet, flying into Manchester Airport ahead of a sold-out 10-day tour across the country. According to law enforcement, they were alerted to his presence shortly after he touched down, and by the time he checked into his hotel, the authorities were already moving. The arrest wasn't for anything that happened recently. It dates all the way back to February 2023.
It seems like there was either a warrant that was outstanding for his arrest or some behind-the-scenes drama that the newspaper was working with an alleged victim with. He is being held right now on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm to a music producer. This guy named Abby Diaw, and it is an incident that happened back in February of 2023, not even in Manchester, at a club in London. Tape is the name of the venue.
Over a year ago, when an alleged nightclub altercation erupted inside Dirty Martini, a trendy hotspot in London's Hanover Square. That night, Chris Brown and his entourage were partying like they had countless times before. But according to one music producer who was also in the venue, things turned violent around 3 a.m. He claims he was struck over the head with a bottle, and then, as he lay on the ground, kicked and punched by several individuals, including allegedly Chris Brown himself. The victim says the attack was unprovoked, that he was blindsided, that he didn't instigate anything. His injuries were serious enough that he ended up hospitalized and left needing crutches for several weeks. At the time, the story made a few waves, but without a formal arrest or charge, it faded into the background. Until now. This week, when Brown stepped foot back in the UK, the case was reactivated. The Met Police issued a statement shortly after the arrest, confirming a 36-year-old man was taken into custody at a Manchester hotel on suspicion of grievous bodily harm, and that he remains in police custody pending further questioning. He news hit social media within hours, and almost immediately, fans and celebrities began reacting. While many fans started trending phrases like "Free Chris Brown," there was another voice in the background, more subtle, but just as attention-grabbing.
after being alerted by the Sun, Met police detectives traveled to Manchester from London and they arrested Brown earlier today. A spokesperson for the Met says he has been taken into custody where he remains. The arrest relates to an incident at a venue in Hanover Square on 19th of February 2023. The investigation is being led by detectives from the Central West Area Basic Command Unit. The music producer alleges that around 3 a.m. at that club back in 2023, Chris Brown launched an unprovoked attack on him.
That voice was Jack Harlow's. It wasn't a press release, it wasn't an Instagram story, but those close to Harlow say he was caught off guard. He didn't see this coming. And even though he's kept quiet in public, a private exchange allegedly leaked that shows just how he really feels about what's happening. Here's the context. Jack Harlow and Chris Brown have shared the same circles, the same stages, and even a few recording booths. In 2022, there were rumors of a collaboration in the works, though it never officially dropped. Backstage interactions, red carpet nods, and mutual respect marked their connection. Jack, a rising star with a clean image and sharp lyrics. Chris, a seasoned performer with a controversial past but undeniable talent. Now, insiders say Harlow is distancing himself. One source claims he told a mutual friend, "Man, I hope this isn't true, but either way, I'm not getting caught in the middle of it." It's a statement that says everything and nothing at the same time. Jack's team hasn't commented, but people around him say he's being strategic, staying silent publicly, but privately shaken by the arrest. Not necessarily because of guilt or belief in the allegations, but because of what it represents. Another firestorm, another name dragged into headlines, and another high-profile friendship under scrutiny.
He claims that Rihanna's ex smashed him over the head with a bottle and then punched him and kicked him as he lay on the floor. The music producer was taken to the hospital after the attack and needed crutches to walk when he was discharged. Shocking. No. Very on brand for him. Remember not that long ago he got into a fight with Usher? Remember all the women that have come forward after Rihanna and made allegations against him? I do. So far, no official response from Team Breezy, but are you surprised by this latest development? I clearly am not. Thoughts? Let's discuss it all in the comments section.
As the legal side unfolds, the public continues asking, why did it take so long to arrest Chris Brown? The answer lies in international jurisdiction. Chris doesn't live in the UK, so police likely couldn't act on the allegation until he re-entered their territory. Once he did, and once his presence was confirmed, they made their move. The arrest has already disrupted tour plans. Brown's UK tour dates were completely sold out, with thousands of fans preparing to attend. Now, those dates are at risk, depending on how the case moves forward. If Brown is charged formally, his ability to travel freely, even within the UK, could be jeopardized. From a legal standpoint, the charge of grievous bodily harm in the UK is serious. If prosecutors move forward, Brown could face significant consequences, including potential jail time, especially if surveillance footage or eyewitnesses support the victim's claims. For now, Chris remains in custody. No official charges have been filed yet, but questioning is ongoing. His legal team hasn't released a statement, but many expect one soon, especially given the media attention. Back in the US, other celebrities are reportedly taking a wait-and-see approach. That's why Jack Harlow's quiet reaction has stood out. In a time when many jump to public statements or cryptic posts, Jack hasn't posted a single word about the arrest. No tweet, no Instagram story, no public comment. But insiders say he's watching, he's reading the headlines, and he's talking behind the scenes. Another source close to Jack described him as disappointed but not surprised. That's telling, especially considering the pattern of controversy that has followed Brown throughout his career. It also raises a deeper question. How do artists navigate relationships with other artists who have a history of legal trouble or accusations? Where's the line between loyalty and reputation, between private friendships and public image? For Harlow, who's seen as one of the next generation's most calculated and business-savvy artists, the answer may be clear. Keep your distance. Protect your brand. Support people privately, not publicly, especially when the story is still unfolding. Meanwhile, fans are split. Some believe Brown is once again being unfairly targeted. Others say this is long overdue accountability. A third group is asking why this alleged incident took over a year to reach this point, and whether police are making an example out of a celebrity. And then there's the footage. That's right. Rumors have started to swirl that there may be security video from the Dirty Martini Club on the night in question. Nothing has been released publicly, but the alleged victim insists that cameras were rolling. If any of that footage sees the light of day, and if it shows what he claims, it could drastically change the trajectory of the case. But until then, it's speculation. Chris Brown remains behind closed doors, facing a police investigation over an alleged assault more than a year old. Jack Harlow remains quiet, choosing to keep his reaction in the shadows, shared only with those close to him. And fans, critics, and media outlets continue to refresh for updates. In moments like these, the court of public opinion moves faster than the actual courtroom. Every hour brings new voices, new theories, and new reactions. But the truth? That part's still being pieced together. As the investigation continues, one thing is certain. This isn't just a legal story. It's a cultural one. It's about how fame, friendship, and accountability collide. And it's far from over.